On the Trapline by David A. Robertson and Julie Flett. I'm on my way up north because Moosham, my grandpa, is taking me to his trapline. I've never been there before, and Moosham says he hasn't been since he was a kid like me. When I look out the window, all I can see are trees and water. The lakes look like blue clouds in the green sky. What's a trapline? I ask. Traplines are where people hunt animals and live off the land, he says. When we touch down in the community, Moosham's old friend is waiting for us. Tansy, he says. Tansy, Moosham says to him. Moosham speaks Swampy Cree when he's around his friends. Hi, I say. That's what Tansy means in English. It's different here. In the city, everything's all bunched up. In the north, there is so much space. Moosham says relatives live in houses close to each other, but to me it looks like there's still a lot of room between them. We pull up to a small house beside a big lake. Is this your trapline? I ask. No, Moosham says. This is where we lived after we left the trapline. Moosham tells me that in winter, everybody in the family slept in one room, where the wood stove kept them warm. He says it was nice being together like that. Well, I guess some things are bunched up in the north. We walk to the shore behind the house. There are all kinds of rocks, big and small, round and flat. I think about the beach I go to near the city, where there's only sand. This is where we used to swim, Moosham says. Moosham tells me that he and his brothers and sisters made paper boats here too. They would pretend the boats were freighters and put tiny rocks in them to see how long they would float. We would drive down the gravel road that winds through the trees like a snake. At the end of the road, a path leads to the remains of an old building. This is where I went to school after we left the trapline, Moosham says. Most of the kids only spoke Cree, but at the school, all of us had to learn in English. Did you still get to speak Cree? I asked. My friends and I snuck into the bush so that we could speak our language, he says. We looked at the birch trees and the pine trees and the long grass. I imagine Moosham and his friends speaking Cree in there. Is that your trapline? I asked. No, he says. My trapline is far from here. I asked Moosham what it was like going to school after living on the trapline. He was quiet for a long time. I learned in both places, he said. I just learned different things. There's a river at the end of the highway. We get into one of the motorboats docked along the shore and head out onto the water. The river is wide, but Moosham's smile is even wider. Moosham tells me his family's boat only had 1 horsepower putt-putt engine. That's not a lot of horses, I say, but I think it would be nice to travel slow around here. I see all kinds of things. Beaver dams, eagles flying overhead, and paintings on the rock. I see the sun climb higher and the shadows get shorter. I see blue water turn to black. That's when Moosham's eyes light up. He points to a boulder by some thick trees. That's my trapline, he says. Moosham needs a walking stick, and so I find him the perfect piece of driftwood. This is where we lived when we were on the trapline, he says. Moosham tells me that everybody in the family slept in one big tent so they could keep warm at night. I think it would have been nice being there together like that. We find a pile of wood that looks like a giant game of pickup sticks. This is where we chopped wood, he says. Moosham tells me that even the youngest children had jobs to do, and everyone would share the work. I think about my chores back in the city, putting away dishes, cleaning up my room. I wonder what it would be like to do my chores outside instead. There are bushes all around the clearing. We find one that's full of Saskatoon berries. Moosham picks one and puts it right in his mouth. When we were hungry, we had to find food, he says. We ate all kinds of berries. I pick a Saskatoon berry and eat it, just like Moosham. It tastes better than the fruit we get in the store. I have more than just one. We walk together back to the shore. Moosham tells me that this is one of the places where he used to set traps. He caught all kinds of animals, but mostly rats. You mean like the ones that live in the sewers? I ask. I've seen that kind of rat on television. No, he laughs. Muskrats. Moosham tells me that they ate muskrat meat. The pelts were sold to buy flour, tea, sugar, and lard, things that you couldn't get on the Trapline. When we're about to leave, I stand with Moosham by the lake. He holds my hand tight, but he doesn't say anything. We stop to fish on the way back. Moosham's friend catches lots of fish. Moosham catches some. I almost catch one, but it gets away. Why are you so good at fishing? I ask. We used to fish on the Trapline too, he says. Moosham tells me that we can share. On the Trapline, everybody shared with everybody else. That night, the community has a feast. There's bannock, mixed vegetables, berries, wild meat, and all the fish we caught. It makes my stomach rumble. Moosham is an elder. After he blesses the food, it's my job to serve him his meal. Elders get to eat before anybody else. Ikozani, he says as I bring his food. When it's time to go home to the city, I ask Moosham if we can come back soon. He says we can. After we take off, I see Moosham looking out the window. Can you see your Trapline? I ask. Yes, he says. I can imagine it just the way it used to be and just the way it is. Can you? I close my eyes and picture the Trapline. The trees, the water, all the land and little islands, chopping wood and picking berries, catching rats at the shore, but not that kind of rat, sleeping in a tent with family to stay warm, standing by the lake with Moosham. I open my eyes. Yes, I say, I can see it too.